Here's 10 tips to help you master creating AI images using Google's Nano Banana. Whether you want to create images of your consistent characters for a story, or if you want to create visuals for your AI videos, I guarantee you'll find something inside this guide to level up your AI creation. Tip number 1 is that you can build an entire world starting from just a single image inside Nano Banana. So for example, if I start with this image of a pilot, she's looking into the distance. There's a spacecraft behind her. I can create an entire scene with just this single image. If I wanted to create an image of her climbing into the aircraft that's behind her, I can do that inside Nano Banana using a prompt like cinematic sci-fi film still, female rebel pilot in worn orange flight suit climbing a ladder into a weathered starfighter cockpit, parked in a rainy military hangar, muddy wet ground with reflections, detailed futuristic spacecraft with open canopy, overcast sky, dramatic moody lighting, shallow depth of field, photorealistic skin and fabric textures, gritty, battle-worn aircraft, documentary-style framing, 35mm anamorphic lens look, ultra-realistic, high detail, Star Wars-inspired aesthetic, original universe. Cinematic composition. So I can create another image of her sitting down and leaning back against this wooden crate. Nano Banana also has some really powerful image editing abilities. I have a photo of her wearing a helmet this time, inside of the cockpit of the spacecraft. And I can tell Nano Banana specifically to put an oxygen mask on her face, and it'll keep everything in the image the same except add on that oxygen mask. There's other AI image models that can do this, like Flux or ChatGPT, but I found that Nano Banana is the best at constructing an entire world from a single image while keeping everything as consistent as possible. Follow along with the workflow step by step and grab the link or deal in the description before we start. Go to the Image section and click on Create Image. In the settings, I change the output size to 16:9 and set the resolution to 4K. For the model, I chose Nano Banana Pro because it gives the most reliable results for character consistency and cinematic lighting. I can import the photo of my pilot, and then what I need to do is start creating whole scene around this image. Is enter a prompt, for example, I can use create a side profile photo of a pilot wiping down the aircraft behind her with a rag. Here's the deal with Nano Banana. If we look at the result we got, it's not quite correct. The perspective looks a little weird, right? Between her arm reaching out and the plane, it looks like the plane is a little bit too small compared to her. Creating images in Nano Banana is an iterative process. When something doesn't work exactly like how you imagined, try adjusting the prompt. Instead, if I modify the prompt to say, create a side profile close-up photo of the pilot wiping down the side of the aircraft behind her with a rag, the key changes being that I'm asking for a close-up photo and also for her to be wiping down the side of the aircraft, Nano Banana generates an image that's much more realistic to what the scene should actually look like. Tip number 2 is how to change backgrounds correctly. You need to add context and intent into the prompt. For example, if I had this photo of a pilot and I simply prompt for Nano Banana to change the background to a jungle, it will do that. But if you look at the jungle, there's some disconnect between the way the jungle looks and the pilot looks. And it literally looks like a super cheap Photoshop job where you just added on a random background behind him. Instead, we'll need to use a prompt that describes the intention of the image. And this might be a prompt like create a scene of this character inside a cinematic sci-fi film by changing the background to temple ruins in a lush jungle. Keep his pose and location exactly the same. If we use a prompt like that, it'll create a scene that's much more realistic, especially with the lighting behind. We can even improve on this a little bit more. I think if he was in the jungle, there might be some more shadows on his face. It looks a little bit too bright. So then I took this image of him in the jungle and said add subtle shadows cast onto the body and head from the jungle around him. And if we compare the before and after when we simply just told Nano Banana to change the background, versus when we really made an effort to tell Nano Banana the intention behind the image, there's a huge difference in the quality of the images. Tip number 3, understanding segmentation masks. Here's a visualization of how the AI actually understands the objects inside the scene. On the right, I showed the different parts of the scene like the background, the sofa, me segmented into different colors. You can think of it as detecting the different objects inside the scene, and with this understanding of how the AI sees the world, it helps us edit specific parts of the image. So if I wanted to specifically change the sofa, I can use a prompt like change the white sofa to a soft blue color with a velvet texture. Keep everything else exactly the same. And what it should do is to edit the specific sofa segment. Now in my segmentation mask, I only highlighted the big objects, but this would also be applied to smaller objects in the scene, like my eyebrows, my eyes, my hair. Tip number 4, combining multiple images, multiple characters, multiple objects into the same scene. So I've got these photos of 2 characters, a blue man, a green woman, and I can actually use Nano Banana to put both of these characters into the same image interacting with each other. If I want to do this inside Hikesfield, I'll go to Image and then select Nano Banana. Then I actually need to upload the 2 character photos. So I'll drag those in here, the blue man and also the green woman. Let's try a prompt, like the man with blue skin and the woman with green skin stand across from each other. Black, ancient temple ruins in the background inside a medieval fantasy film. So what do you think? It sort of followed my instructions, but something went wrong here. It really hasn't changed the character pose or lighting from the original reference images at all. This is a pretty low-quality image. I can see a lot of people getting frustrated when they try putting characters together and they get results like this. What you need to do is really put context and intention behind the prompts. That means adding camera angles like wide angle shot, full body shot, and describing how the characters interact. For example, side profile photo of the green-skinned woman sitting on a rock, while the blue-skinned man reaches out and gestures for her to stand. Adding action-based details dramatically improves results. Now we can start adding more objects, but here's the problem. The more elements you combine, the worse the quality becomes. That brings us to tip number 5, the collage method. Instead of uploading multiple separate images, combine all references into one collage image. This keeps lighting, pose, and consistency intact and produces much better results. Tip number 6, managing aspect ratios. Nano Banana outputs images in the same aspect ratio as your reference. If your input is vertical, your output will be vertical. If you want a wide image, use a wide reference. Tip number 7, outpainting or expanding images. You can't directly extend an image, but if you place it on a larger blank canvas and ask Nano Banana to fill the empty space, it will expand the scene naturally. Tip number 8, using annotations. You can draw arrows and add text instructions directly on your reference image to guide the AI. For example, label areas for a temple, dragon, or foreground object. Tip number 9, annotating with images. Take it further by adding actual image references along with annotations. This gives even more control over the final result. Tip number 10, changing lighting. You can completely transform the mood by prompting different lighting styles like golden hour, soft lighting, or vivid colors while keeping the scene intact. Tip number 13, camera angles. Use prompts like close-up, low angle, high angle, or full body shot to control composition. Tip number 14, turning images into video. You can take multiple consistent images and turn them into a seamless AI video using start and end frames. This allows you to create camera movements and transitions between scenes. For example, start with a front-facing shot and end with a rear shot, then prompt a camera rotation. The result is a smooth, cinematic transition. And that's how you take your AI world building to the next level. If you want to go deeper into creating seamless AI videos, check out the full guide where I break down camera movements, transitions, and advanced techniques. If this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more AI filmmaking tutorials. And if you want more prompts, workflows, and cinematic tricks, check out the next video on your screen.